Hi, and welcome to my guide on how to get the ancient pages. The ancient pages are notes that you get from the ancient caverns, and you can fill this book called the My Notes. My Notes is from Otto the God Blessed. Otto the God Blessed, and where we're going to be doing this is located in the Baxter and Falls area over here. So where we actually are right now is Barbarian Assault, but the Whirlpool is right here with this dungeon sign, and Otto's Grotto is where Otto is, who gives you the My Notes book. In order to get this My Notes book, however, you do need to complete his Barbarian training. Barbarian training has to do with making herblore potions, making fires with bows, and different type of fishing method called Barbarian fishing. If you're not familiar with that, please look that up first. But without further ado, let me explain on how to finish the My Notes. So My Notes are unique pages that are dropped by the monsters within that dungeon. We want to collect all 26 books in order to fill what is called the My Notes, and then you can put this in your player-owned house bookcase. So let me explain first on how to get here. So once again, this area is located by Barbarian Assault. There are several ways to get here. The easiest way would be to take a games necklace to Barbarian Assault, but I believe it's called the Barbarian Outpost. The second way would be to use the jewelry box, which would also be a games necklace, to the Barbarian Outpost. A third and free method would be to use the mini-games teleport to Barbarian Assault, and that will bring you right to where I am standing. And a fourth way, which is also an option, is to teleport with a fishing cape, or a max cape, to Otto's Grotto. And Otto's Grotto will bring you right to, again, over here. You'll spawn right over there, which you would just have to run to the bank up here anyway. So, to do this method, you're going to want some gear and some inventory. I'm going to go over the inventory first because that is the most important, I think. Now, your inventory, or rather your equipment, needs to be in 3 different categories. The 3 categories that you want to focus on are weight, how much you weigh, which is 28 kilograms, which is not too much. You also want to maximize on your melee defense, which is I'm almost at 400 of each, which is very good. And the third is going to be our prayer bonus, because we're going to be praying magic while down there. So let me explain parts of the gear and what you can use. This is of course what I am using, but I'm going to explain right here using this notepad why I chose these options. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the helm. The helmet slot, I recommend using full justice shears for the helm, body, and legs. This is because it gives you a tremendous amount of defense and also gives you a slight amount of prayer bonus. But when you wear the full set of justice shear, you get an incredible amount of a bonus of defense. So I highly recommend using full justice shear. If you're an Iron Man or you don't have justice shear, then you can also settle for using full Varix, as that has also high amount of defense and it also has a high amount of prayer. Third option would be to use proselyte legs and body with the helm of knees. Those are sort of a lower level way to do it as well, but you won't last as long. Not really recommended here. For the weapon, I like to use the Void Mace, A, because it's I have it, and B, it's because it gives you a lot of prayer bonus, and you're not fighting anything, so you don't actually need a weapon. For the weapon slot, you want to focus on high prayer. So Void Mace is the highest amount of prayer with the lowest amount of weight. The next would be a God Crozier, which you get from Clue Scrolls. So if you're an Iron Man, you may not have these. Void Mace you can get pretty easily. And the third option, which everyone has anyway, is a Wolfbane that has a couple of prayer bonus, and it's essentially weightless, so that's a decent option as well. For the shield, of course, a Legion Spirit Shield would be the best, granted that you have that. I don't as well, so I use the second tier, which is the Dragonfire Shield. I'll also get into why you want this over the Follower Shield 4, but Follower Shield 4 is also a good option because it has a high amount of prayer and a pretty decent amount of defense, but Dragonfire Shield has a lot of defense. Next up is the cape slot. If you have the max cape, of course you want to use that, because not only is that going to give you your HP boost from your HP cape, but it's also going to count as a holy symbol, and it also counts as a ring of life, and a lot of different bonuses from the max cape, so that's definitely the best thing to use. Next, I would say if you have 99 HP, then definitely bring the HP cape if you are not maxed, because you're going to want that that extra healing bonus from the HP cape. And if for some reason you have 99 prayer without having 99 hit points, you can also use the prayer cape, because that's good, because it gives you the holy wrench bonus, so you get more prayer points per prayer sip. Now for ammo, any blessing will do, but of course Radha's blessing 4 from the Korend will give you +4, so that's I'm sorry, +2, so that'll be the best option there. The only options really for ammo. Now for your next slot, Dragon Bone Necklace gives you +12, so that's obviously the best. And if you don't have that for some reason, any stole will do. That gives you +10. And if you also don't have that for another reason, you can also use just a regular holy symbol. Now for rings, the Ring of Suffering is definitely the best. It gives you the most amount of defense. It also gives you an extreme amount of prayer, and by far absolutely the best. If you do not have a Ring of Suffering eye, you could also try to use the Ring of Gods eye, which will give you a lot of prayer bonus. And if you also don't have that, for the rings, I guess you can use like an Explorer's Ring, if you have that as well. Alright, for the gloves, I always like to use Regen Bracelet, because that with the HP cape is going to give you +4 prayer per minute, which is very good, or rather +4 HP per minute, so that's a very good combination there. And if you don't have a regeneration bracelet, then Holy Wraps from Treasure Trails is a good idea, or Tormented Bracelet also gives prayer as well. For boots, the new Devout boots are really good. They give you a lot of prayer and also defense. If you don't have that, I would just go straight for prayer bonus, which would be Holy Sandals. And for some reason, if you don't have either of these, you could just bring Boots of Lightness to lower your KG. So that's pretty much it for your inventory. You remember, you want to maximize all 3 categories, which is prayer bonus, defensive melee bonus, and your kilogram weight. Alright, so let's move on to the inventory. For the inventory, I always bring 1 extended anti-fire. You must have an anti-fire at all times. If you do not have an anti-fire, you will immediately die, because you need to defend against brutal green dragons, which are pretty much exactly the same as black, red, and blue green dragons, meaning you need anti-fire plus prayer to be fully protected, which is why you can use an Elysian. You can use an Elysian as long as you have anti-fire plus prayer magic, and we're automatically praying magic, and we're automatically using anti-fire anyway, so a DFS is not needed. However, I do like to bring DFS anyway for its high defenses, and also in case you forget to sip your anti-fire, at least you have a DFS to protect you from getting hit very high, since you will be, for this method, keeping your HP low. Alright, so also in your inventory, you're going to want 3 or 4 prayer potions. If you're using my method and you're 99, you can use 3. If you're using some of these lower level methods, you may want to bring more prayer potions, or if you're not 99 prayer, you may want to bring 4 or even 5. Stamina potions, I bring 6. If you're not maxed like I am, or 99 agility for that matter, I would bring as much as 8, because you are constantly running during this method. There is no walking ever. You are completely running the entire time, so you're going to need a lot of stamina. So depending on your agility level, and also depending on this amount of kg here, you're going to want to bring the staminas for that. And the rest of your inven should just be Ceridome and Bruise. Now the reason is you do not need restores, because Ceridome and Bruise give you defense level. It drops your attack and strength and mage and range, but that does not matter, because we are not going to be attacking anything. We are just defending. And your magic level will not matter for your defense, because we are going to be praying magic as well. So you having Sarah Bruise and being 1 in all of your stats, except for defense, is totally fine. So that is why we are bringing Sarah Bruise, because they offer 64 HP per inventory slot, which is the most of anything in this game. So, without further ado, let me explain the method. So, what I like to do at the bank is pre-pot. So what I mean by pre-pot is you want to pot before you go there. So I like to drink an extended anti-fire and a stamina potion. This way we are nice and ready to go. I'm going to bank my notes real quick, and I'm going to grab 3 prayer potions and 2 more Saradome and Brews, and we're going to run to the waterfall. So the waterfall is just going to be south of the Barbarian Assault Bank, if that's where you are banking, which I highly recommend you should be. A couple of cool features about my notes is that you do not need the book in your inventory. Notice that I don't have it in my inventory to actually collect the notes. I also recommend turning off all of your chats and keeping your game on, because it'll tell you when you read a note, it'll tell you that you have added it to your collection. Right before you go down these stairs, make sure we are praying magic, and we're going to immediately run south. As we are running south, we want to make sure that we hit this tile that I have marked right here. Once you are at this tile, you can remove all prayers, and you do not have to worry about being attacked. This is what I call the safe zone tile. In this tile, no enemies will be able to reach you because of this confused barbarian, and he is non-aggressive always, so that's not to worry. Now, we have to worry about the brutal green dragons. Before we do that, though, you might want to go to your controls and have your NPC attack options to always right-click. This will prevent some errors if you accidentally click them instead of rummaging the skeleton. So before you do that, you're going to want to make sure you have that set, and it's also a good idea to set your quick prayer to protect from missiles, to protect from magic. So once this method starts, we're also going to want to zoom out a lot, because when we hop worlds, we are always going to start facing north, and since we need to look south, we want our thing nice and zoomed out so we can click it from here. The next thing I want to say is we have this yellow tile here. This is called the aggression tiles. So anything loses aggressiveness after 9 minutes. But because we're rummaging the skeletons that are close enough to each other, we have to get the yellow barrier to be within here. So let's figure out how we can do that. So first of all, let's pray our magic prayer and run out. As we run out here, it's not going to change our tile because of the way that it's positioned. So we're going to want to rummage our skeleton to the east, and it'll change our aggression tile again this way. So we're going to want to run back to this tile and see if it'll change it one more time. There it is. Now from this point, you can either continue and rummage the skeletons for the entire time until they become unaggressive, or you can do what I did and just log out, just AFK until the timer drops to 0. Once your timer drops to 0, your brutal green dragons will no longer attack you, and you will not need anything in order to rummage these skeletons. If you're not a person that likes to do methods for a very long time, then I recommend sticking with the high combat and just going through, rummaging them for a little bit of time, and then going back, rebanking, or doing something else and coming back to this later. Some people don't like to grind this all in one go. This does take a very long time, so you may want to take multiple trips, and that's why you need this gear, and you're going to want to need this setup as well. But once you are non-aggressive, which they shouldn't be now, let's see. Yep, so now they're not aggressive, so our safe tile is no longer needed. So for this, you're going to want to just click your guy here, and then click the other guy on this side. As you are going through between them, sometimes they come out and try to attack you. So if that happens, just run to the opposite end here, and it's not a big deal. Once you have the green dragons to be non-aggressive, you can bring over an alt account to stand here and have a full inventory of brews and a couple of staminas. Now, your alt can be the runner to bring you more food and more staminas, and you can infinitely last at this rummage place since they're no longer aggressive. Alright, I hope you enjoyed my video on how to collect all of the ancient pages. I have now collected all 26 of my pages here. It's taken probably a total of about 9 to 10 hours. And I hope you enjoy. I hope you get yours very fast like I did. Some people say it takes up to 18 hours. So, hope you enjoyed. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and thank you very much.